thank you for being on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it, man. It's great to see you again. I've seen you. I believe I've seen you at other Realcomm. Tell me what's going on with Tridel.
Tridel's a multifamily residential builder, and we were actually inspired by Realcomm in 2006 to start to go down that intelligent building path. And over that time, we've been partnering with different companies, with Cisco, with IBM, working to build out the vision, and it's finally coming together. Not to say that it's done. This is the kind of thing that'll never be done. It'll be ongoing. It'll just keep building. But it's been an exciting time, and the transformation's happening now, so it's great.
What do you think has been the biggest difference from going to being a regular builder to an intelligent builder?
The hardest part in all this has been the education side of it, getting everybody online.
Right.
We're all used to the lingo here. We all talk the same language, but getting owners and senior executives, they're exactly in the wrong demographic. They just don't get technology. They're afraid of it. And it just took incredible amount of persistence and just keep trying every technique you can possibly think of to get buy-in, to get them to understand. And then eventually it comes together and they're starting to say the right things.
What do you think's been your most effective tool for getting them to understand and go, we need to be doing this?
You know what happened was you just kept saying the same story over and over again.
Yeah.
And you just got better at refining it. And you just had to keep saying it over and over, the same things. But I shared it in one of the other sessions. One image that became very powerful, that was a transformational piece in all of this, was showing them a picture of the human nervous system. It said a network's like the nervous system. It connects every sensor, every system. So like your hand hits something hot, your body tells it to move away.
Right.
It's the same with this. If you don't connect everything, if you don't connect things in the building, how do you make it react? That's when they really started to get it. The other thing I found that was critical in this was just simplifying decisions. After doing all of this and presenting business cases and everybody going after you and trying to shoot down your business cases, eventually we came in and said, we've been talking about these networks and intelligent buildings for years, over and over again. Is there anybody in the room who doesn't believe that a building will have a network? No hands go up. So you all believe a building will have a network. Then the question was, well, where do you want to start then? So instead of going through all of this, presenting numbers and financial analysis, it came down to really just that emotion and just saying yes or no. You believe in it? Well, where are you going to start? And that's really how it ended up happening. It was just simplify, take away all of this stuff, because any business case you present on this can get holes blown in it.
Yeah.
Nobody's really done it before, so how do you prove anything?
Now, when you say, in a sense, no one's really done it before, but do we have enough buildings out there now living the lifestyle that we can conclusively prove that it does work, or are we still kind of in that beta phase?
It depends on what type of product. Right now, from what I'm seeing, it's anticlimactic. When it comes to commercial buildings, it's pretty much just there. Everything's going to IP. This is just happening. Residential buildings are a little different, and I spoke a little bit about this. We need a transformation with the telecommunication providers. So one of the things that holds us back is we can put a network in a building, we can light everybody up with internet access really cheap, but if we do that, we don't have TV, because the telco provider won't do it. But the telco providers need to transform their thinking and their models from, I'm going to deliver phone, TV, and internet, to I'm going to deliver an intelligent building and a whole host of new services. They got to get their heads around that. And instead of resisting it and trying to sue people and fight against it, they should embrace this model, because the world's doing it.
Right.
So a network's coming in the building anyway. How long is it going to be till someone says, I already have a network, so why don't I just buy a gig fiber from company X and I've given everybody internet access?
Is there any telco company even close to starting to seem like it's on the verge of understanding the opportunity for them here?
What's interesting is one came with us from Toronto. They're sitting over there. And
what are they called?
Rogers Communications.
Okay.
So Rogers Communications is embracing the model with us right now, and we're working towards doing that together.
I suppose the trick is getting them to understand you may lose some of that individual telephone and cable money, but you're going to gain from the amount that the buildings themselves are paying you to provide to them, right?
Right, and what services can you put on that building? So you think work from home, offer people storage, offer them security services. It's just different revenue streams. Like if you look at the building differently, you can get paid to manage a network, you get paid to put in a network, you get paid to integrate systems in it. There's so many places you can make money, you just got to change it. The negative is if they don't do it, they're going to be SOL. Because
Yeah.
once TV comes over the top, and it's there pretty much right now, like I
Right.
already have a few devices that work, they're not going to need them anymore. So we're going to have a network, we can get access from anyone, they're going to be out of business. Or they can embrace this right now and transform themselves.
This is really, I mean, interesting forward thinking. I'm going to ask you more of your sort of forward thinking, but I want to ask you this. There are people watching who are builders and they want to create stuff. What's the biggest lesson? What's the biggest, how can you save them a lot of headache from one of the experiences that you know? So what's a great trick if you're planning on building intelligent? What's one of the things that you guys learned the hard way that they can benefit from?
The simple piece is get the network in there. And the network can be paid for by a telco provider, or if you want, you can create a business model around that to offer internet access. But once the network is in there, and if the network is paid for, whatever you converge on top of it just becomes a bonus. So the only lesson is get the network in there, get that thing in there. And the other part of it is this is a huge educational thing. The consultants don't get it yet. You're going to have to push to make this happen. But get that network in, and if that network is paid for, every single system you converge on the network is going to be money in your pocket. So this stuff works.
And you're realizing as someone who's actually doing it, are you actually realizing the profit from those additional services?
The problem is I'm not going to answer that and say 100% yes. And the challenge is that the cycles of these buildings is 3 years. So we have to go through more cycles before I would firmly say that.
Yeah.
Because one problem that we're having is that sometimes the IP technology is a little bit more money, but it's falling. So it's hard. It's a hard thing to comment on. They've all bought into it. The other thing about moving to a nice IP infrastructure, it gives you access to a lot more different technologies that you wouldn't have access to. So you can build a better building and a better experience for the homeowner.
Yeah. What's one technology, I'll ask you, these are two-part questions. What's the one technology on this trade show floor that you absolutely could not live without? What's the one most important piece of technology here? And the second is, what's the one piece of technology you wish someone would perfect or invent?
Okay, let me go to the perfect first, because I haven't looked enough to know which technology on this floor I couldn't live without.
Right.
Even though I know okay, so we'll start with the one that I wish they'd perfect.
Okay.
One of the biggest challenges we face is cellular access in the buildings. Because these things are concrete and steel, and we're using specialized glass, cellular signals don't come in. So putting a DAS into one of these buildings is extremely expensive. It's almost $1,000 a suite. So there's not really a good business case for it.
Right.
Emerging is picocells and nanocells. And I keep hearing them everywhere that they're working and they're working, but it doesn't look like they're working. And they're basically a $100 cell that plug onto the network that will give you cellular access, and it backhauls the signal to the carrier. So the carriers like them. The problem is they don't work yet, or at least I don't know. So I hear they're working in Asia, I hear they're working in Europe, I hear people are using them, but the truth is it just looks like it's smoke and mirrors. And that would be, again, transformational for us. The most important piece of technology, and I don't know, I'm not going to specifically pick it, it's just basic switching gear.
Yeah.
Nuts and bolts, you need the switches in the building and the fiber in the building. That's your foundation starting point.
Who are some of the companies you guys work with in that?
Well, we're partnered with Cisco, and Cisco and IBM have both been partnering with us. We're also Samsung is here with us as well, and Samsung is also looking at combining their products. They're doing a lot of amazing stuff over in Korea and looking to bring those products to North America. And they're at a whole different scale and level and functionality than what you see here. And some of it's just simple things, like on their wall panel, you can call the elevator from your suite. Simple thing, right? Yeah. So you think, instead of walking down the hall and pushing the button, this is the technologies that I like. I want them to be simple. It's not about making blinds go up and down. It's about making an entire community, making it secure, making it sustainable, and using the technology on that platform. That's another place where the technology is lacking. There is not a lot of MDU solutions that look at it like a community. So the stuff you see as smart home is putting blinds up and down, about thinking only of an enclosed single home. When you got an MDU with a whole bunch of people, it's a different model, and there's still not a lot of technology out there to do that.
Really amazing stuff. Ted, thank you so much for being here at Conference Live.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you. Ted Maulucci from Tridel.